Good evening, Bula. Oh, and that's all the energy you're going to give me tonight? Good evening, Bula. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Are you ready to get this comedy show started? Yeah! All right, my name is Mike Fried. I'm going to be your host for the beginning of the night. We have 5 fantastic comedians tonight. They have paid their dues. They are the best of the best. These guys have won, each one of these guys has won a qualifying round in the Bula Bowl, and they're going to be here tonight to compete for a cash prize. And they are here to compete in front of 2 VIP judges. We have Karen Quinn from Finley's Follies. And I believe he's doing a new room too now, aren't he?
Yeah. Sport Shack.
So he's doing Finley's Follies and the Sport Shack. He's a booker. He knows what he's looking for in a good comedian, and he is looking tonight to book a guest spot for this weekend, tomorrow night. So make sure that you're doing a good job for Kieran, because there's some work in it for you. And we also have Terry Gillespie down here from Pennsylvania. He's a headlining comic who wanted to stop in and see the show tonight. I'm going to give a round of applause for Terry. Terry's also going to be doing a guest spot for us a little bit later, so that should be entertaining. How many of you have never been to Bula before? Let me hear a round of applause. How many people have never been to Bula before? This is a comedy show. That's quite a bit. How many people are here just because it's a Friday night and you wanted to come up here and grab a shell and had no idea there was a comedy show tonight? All right. Now, I actually want to give you guys another round of applause because, you know, these guys who are here tonight to see a comedy show, they're the reason that we're here. But you guys who are here every Friday night just because you want to come out and hang out and have a show, you're the reason that Bula is here. So give yourselves another round of applause. So hopefully we're going to entertain you tonight, and you're going to come back to all of our comedy shows. We're going to start doing comedy here every Friday, just like we do comedy at Bula every Thursday. And for those of you who have never been to a kava bar, this is normally the time when the host gives all the drink specials, but I actually want the owner of Bula on the Beach to come up here and tell you a little bit about their products, because some of you might be wondering what's this weird stuff in the bowl. So Ross is about to come up here and tell you. Now, Ross told you about the special drinks that they have, the kava and the kratom, which I highly recommend, but if you're not willing to go the extra mile and try something a little exotic, they also have a full-service coffee bar. They have sodas. They have, what else do you have? Hot chocolate, tea, all kinds of other normal stuff that you would find in a cafe. So hit up the bar, make sure you're tipping your bartenders, and have a good time. Now, I want to tell you, well, I can't tell you about the rules, really, because there aren't any. I know some of you didn't even come here for a comedy show. But I do have a few requests, just a polite little request that will make the show go a whole lot better and smoother. If you're going to talk, if you're going to have conversations, it would be polite if you could take those indoors or keep them in the bar area at a low volume so that those up front who are here for the show can enjoy it. If you have a cell phone, please put it on vibrate, because it can be very distracting when they go off in the middle of a show. And lastly, please do not try to contribute to the show unless the comic asks you to, because it's not actually helpful. It's kind of annoying to the comic and the audience, and they will destroy you. So, no heckling, please. Because we got off to a late start, I'm going to keep my set short, but I do want to tell you a couple of jokes. I'm really happy to be here. This is starting off to be a really great show. I did not do so well a couple of months ago. I actually had to do performance in front of a very large group of people, and I was not in great shape. Like, my arm was in a sling, my 2 black eyes, glasses broken. I looked like a guy who had just gotten his ass kicked. And you can't get up in front of a group of people that size and not address that situation. So let me try to explain it to you the way I explained it to them. I had just gotten my ass kicked. And already being heckled by the emergency. The damn ambulance. Needed an ambulance that night. So anyway, I want this to be a lesson to all of you. It doesn't matter how tough you are, do not fuck with Green Berets. Because Girl Scouts will get their money. I bought 3 boxes of Thin Mints. I didn't lose a single pound. I didn't think I should have to pay for that. Next thing I know, they're on me like a pack of pigtail piranha. I didn't stand a chance in the world. And you might assume by looking at me that I probably get my ass kicked a lot, and you're right. And another example of this, a few months ago, I was actually stopped at a stop sign waiting for it to turn green, because that's what you do when you're stoned. And I was there long enough that 2 other cars had pulled up behind me. And one of them starts honking their horn at me, which is really annoying because obviously I can't go until the sign turns green, and they should know that. So I start honking back. And next thing I know, the guy in the second car gets out of his vehicle, and he is built like he could have modeled for Batman's armor. I mean, this guy is ripped. And the fact that I used a comic book reference to describe him probably tells you something about my fighting ability. So the smart thing to do would just be to go, but I can't because the sign is still red. So I had a plan. It wasn't a good plan. It was one of those plans that you get when you're stoned. And I noticed that he's not coming towards me. He's actually going to the car behind him. That's when I realized that the sound of the horns is coming from my stereo because it's the traffic report. And I'm the only asshole in this situation who's honking their horn. And of course, if you're behind me, you're thinking there's no way in hell the guy in front is the one being obnoxious. So he's going to the car behind him, and my plan is I get out of the car and I run up with him. I'm like, I'm going to hold them down while you whoop their ass because I don't want them figuring out the situation and turning it around on me. And that didn't work to my advantage either because, like, she beat me to the ground. Like, she started using her cane on me. Like, her granddaughter got out of the back seat, like, started kicking me in the nuts. Like, it's a bad day. And so a couple of months ago, I was hanging out at the mall, you know, checking out the high school girls like I do every weekend. And I saw this woman who could only be described as disgustingly fat. Now, I'm not talking about a little chunky, a little chubby. I'm talking about a woman so big she should have been fighting giant robots in the Pacific Rim. Right? I'm talking about a woman so big her muffin top had frosting on it. Right? And she's wearing a t-shirt that says Professional Heartbreaker. Now, I've got to hand it to the master of irony who decided to make a Professional Heartbreaker t-shirt in size circus tent. But as a big person myself, I feel like as a public service, there are certain things we shouldn't wear. Like, if you're this size or bigger, you should never wear orange in October. Like, if you're this big, you should not be wearing black and white to SeaWorld. Like, they don't let you leave, I know. And if you're this big, you should not be wearing all red if you're bursting through brick walls screaming, "Oh yeah!" And for the love of God, you should not be wearing a t-shirt that says Professional Heartbreaker if you're in fact a professional chair breaker. Alright, that's going to be my time, but I want to remind you that this is a judged competition. We do have our 2 guest judges. They're going to account for 50% of the score, but the other 50% of the score, the other half, is going to come from all of you. That means all of you should have a ballot in your hand. And if you don't, please let myself or Dave Hines, the guy in the red shirt back here, know, and we will bring you one. So, without any further ado, I'm going to bring up your first contestant of the evening. Give a big round of applause for Ashmo.